friend of the family was having dinner at my parents' house, and I lived there back then.
Yeah.
And he was like, you should totally do the auditions. I had never auditioned for anything.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, I don't really want to, I have homework.
Yeah.
It was like, he sort of challenged me, like, oh yeah, are you afraid you're not gonna? I was like, okay, I'll do it, I'll go.
Yeah.
My first song that I ever wrote, I was 14, or 13 or 14.
Yeah.
And it was for my English class. It was just kind of a homework we had to do. And it was so crazy for like a few months that I was like, going back to school, that's just gonna take me back to my normal life. I'm gonna be able to focus on what I really want to do. It's gonna give me time to write songs that I like.
Hi, today I'm here with Charlotte Cardin.
Hi.
So you were born in Montreal, right?
Yeah, Montreal, Canada. Born and raised. Montreal is still home for me.
Were your parents born there as well?
Yeah, both of them were born in Montreal, so
Yeah.
all my family's from there.
How do you describe yourself like in the teenage years?
I was pretty mellow. Like I wasn't a rebel of any sort. I guess I was into music, into arts, into like all those things. I mean, I don't know, I wasn't like, I don't have a crazy teenage, story I can tell. I was just pretty mellow. My sister was the rebel, and she's older than me, so she sort of, she traced the path for me to just walk through teenage years, and like, so she was the rebel. I was kind of a mellow child.
Yeah. And your parents are scientists, right?
Yeah, both my parents are scientists, but they're both into art. I feel like they both have a super strong artistic side.
That's kind of rare to have like the academic side and then also like the creative side.
Absolutely.
But that's so cool. I mean, you're the same also. You're like interested in like both things.
Yeah, I wanted to become a doctor at one point, but music was always my number one passion. Yeah.
What specific fields were they like within science?
So my dad is in biotechnology. He's a patent agent. So basically he'll protect biotechnological inventions so that no one can steal your idea. Basically that's what he does. And my mom is a teacher. She teaches epidemiology, which is the study of epidemics. So it's like statistics, how epidemics will spread throughout a certain population and stuff like that.
That's so cool. Damn. How do you think their like careers has shaped the person you are now?
They're both really hardworking. And so I think that for sure, my sister and I both have that. Like when we want something, we work really hard to get it. But at the same time, I feel like my parents work a little too hard. Like they don't give themselves enough me time. Like they don't take care of themselves as much as so both my sister and I also like have that side where we're like, we don't want to do that. We don't want to forget ourselves throughout our careers, but we do want to work super hard and achieve our goals.
And then like even from the beginning, like they already like, how do you do music and like singing lessons and everything? What kind like were they like musicians also?
So my mom plays the piano really well. My grandma is actually she was a music teacher for kids, and so my mom got that from her. My mom also played the flute, like she played a bunch of instruments. My dad is a huge music fan. He's into rock and roll. He knows all the stories, all the dates, all the albums. Like he's a huge Led Zeppelin, Rolling Stones kind of guy, and so he really gave me that side to just be curious and to want to listen to a bunch of different things. And my mom had the more applied music side, like playing it and reading music and stuff like that, which I don't have. I don't really read music, but she was the one who insisted that my sister and I took music lessons when we were kids, and so.
Was singing something that you requested, or they put you in singing classes?
It's something I requested. They were both like, we want you to take music lessons, but they didn't, they were like, take any instrument you want. You can, do drums, do piano, do whatever, but we want you to have music be a part of your life. And I chose piano. I did a year of piano lessons, and I quit because I never practiced, and I just didn't like it. And then switched to singing and took that for like 10 years. And
wow, that's crazy. Do you think the classes helped a lot?
I think so, absolutely. I mean, at first, obviously, I started when I was 8, so at first it was more like just for fun and kind of just learning new techniques and stuff, but after a while it got more serious, and it was still for fun, but I did learn a bunch of tricks, how to protect my voice, how to warm up, how to do a bunch of really important things that I still apply to my career now.
In high school, what were your favorite subjects?
French.
Yeah.
In high school, I really liked math. Later on I didn't so much, and now, like, funny enough, I suck at math. Like the most simple, you know, just counting is just really hard for me. But I used to be good at math, and I really liked all the artistic courses we had. So like painting and theater and journalism and stuff like that I really liked. I do still like to paint and draw, like a little bit. I'm just for fun. It's not something I want to make a career out of, but I'm into a bunch of different artistic things.
And then after you graduated high school, did you go straight into modeling, or how did?
That was actually during high school that I got into it. It was mostly because I knew a few girls that did it, and I was like, oh, that seems like, you know, easy money, kind of like a good side job to have. It was never a passion for me. It was never something I wanted to do professionally. It was just, I wanted to try it out, and eventually it got me, it gave me the freedom that I needed to work on my music and to have a little bit of extra money to have time to work on my music. So that was wonderful, but it was never something I really liked doing.
So did you take time off school, or?
I did at one point after high school. In high school, it was out of the question for my parents and I to miss school to do modeling. But after high school, in Quebec, we have a different school system. We have cégep. That's in between high school and university. And basically in cégep, I took a semester off and I traveled to do a little bit of modeling, and but that's the only time I did that.
Were they ever afraid of you, like, doing modeling at a young age, your parents? I
think so, a little bit, but they were very present. Like they came to all of my first shootings. Like they were there. They met with the photographers. They made sure that I was surrounded by good people, and by, you know, good teams. And eventually I did it on my own, but they were always aware of what I was doing, where I was, and stuff like that.
Where were you at with your music career before you did the Canadian version of The Voice?
It was really just a hobby before that. Something I really loved doing. But it was a hobby. In my head, it wasn't possible to make a career out of it. For me, it was kind of like, oh, you know, everyone wants to try it out, and no one really, you know, breaks through. But so being on that show really got me thinking that maybe I could make a career out of it. And eventually I did, and that was awesome for that.
What clicked you to participate, like, on the show? Did your friends tell you to do it, or? It
was a friend. It was a coincidence. So a friend of the family was having dinner at my parents' house, and I lived there back then. And he was like, you should totally do the auditions. I had never auditioned for anything. And I was like, oh no, I don't really want to. I have homework. It was like, he sort of challenged me, like, oh yeah, are you afraid you're not gonna? I was like, okay, I'll do it. I'll go. And I ended up not hearing back from them for like a few months, and so I was like, oh, I guess it didn't work out. But still, it was an audition, so it was cool because it was my first one. And then a few months later, they called me and they were like, okay, you're doing your blind audition in 2 weeks. And I was like, oh my god. So that was super fun.
But before that, did you perform much live, like even in smaller settings?
No, so I did the concerts at the end of the year with my singing teacher, with all her students. So that was sort of
leap.
And then I also did the talent shows at school. In high school, I did all the talent shows because I really liked performing for the school, but it was, but never for like actual crowds. I mean, the high school crowd was pretty cool. I have to say, I had a big high school, so it was like that
was kind of perfect.
That was the big crowds I had done, was high school crowds.
How did you prepare mentally to even just like have a crowd of like of all these people watching? Did it ever like get to your head?
No, I'm not really. I don't get super nervous before playing. I get more nervous when there's smaller crowds, because then you can really see everyone's reaction.
Yeah.
But I usually visualize the show. I like doing that. Just going through the songs in my head and just, you know, things that I'm less comfortable with, just preparing them in my head. And then sometimes when I'm really nervous, I get stressed out about what I'm going to say in between songs. Yeah. And so sometimes I just sort of try to focus on that, and then I always end up saying other stuff, but it's just like reassuring to know that you have something to say and it's not going to be stupid.
How about songwriting itself? Like, what age did you actually proper start writing like lyrics and stuff?
My first song that I ever wrote, I was 14 or 13 or 14.
Yeah.
And it was for my English class. It was just kind of a homework we had to do, and I really liked it, and so I kept on writing more songs after that. Yeah. But I really got into songwriting when I was 17, probably. Yeah. And just like started doing it seriously around 17.
Did it come easy to you, like writing melodies and everything, putting a whole song together?
Well, I mean, I think I thought it came easily to me, but my first song sucked. So I mean, I think I was like comfortable doing it, and I really liked it. But it did take a while until the songs were okay.
And then you mentioned like previous interviews that it was kind of a weird thing, because like you're performed in front of so many people, but not even for your specifically like original music. Yeah. Like, what went through your head for like all that time?
I mean, I had no expectations out of doing that, doing the show, so it didn't really change that much for me, because I was like, I was just put into something that was crazy, and like, you know, almost half of Quebec was watching the show at the time.
That's crazy.
Like, half the province almost is watching the show, and then, you know, but really I was just grateful to be there, and so since I didn't expect, you know, I didn't want to become super famous. I didn't want, it was sort of, I was just grateful to be there, and I just took in all the experience that I could, and met awesome people. And that was my mindset throughout the whole thing. It wasn't to like, I want to win, I want to, you know, it was just, I was just trying to be chill about it, and it ended up being great because I didn't have any expectations.
Yeah. What made you want to, like, after the competition, to like go back for like 2 years and like study more before you, and like saying no to all those like deals that were being thrown at you?
I just wanted to finish school. I was in Cégep at the time, and I wanted to finish that, and it was really important for me. I had started it before I was on the show. Yeah. And it was so crazy for like a few months that I was like, going back to school is just gonna take me back to my normal life. I'm gonna be able to focus on what I really want to do. It's gonna give me time to write songs that I like. And then after, I'll be able to make the decisions that I'm gonna want to make. Yeah. You know, because I did get a bunch of offers, and I was like, people hadn't heard my songs. Yeah. And I was like, why would you want to sign me if you don't know what music I really want to do?
Where do you think you got that mindset from? I feel like a lot of people would like jump at the chance. Yeah. Did you have like some mentor tell you, or?
I guess my family was really, really present.
Oh, that's really good.
And I talked to them, and they were, you know, they agreed that finishing school was a really good idea. It was going to give me time. And I was really young. I was 17. I was 18 when we finished the show. Yeah. And they were like, it's not a couple years that's going to make people not want to listen to you anymore. And it's like, and if people forget you...
That's really smart.
I'm really glad we did that. And my parents were like, if people forget you and they don't want to listen to your music ever again, then maybe it's just because, you know...
The wrong fans anyway.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So I agreed with that.
Yeah. What about like science and stuff that made you want to study it?
So for sure my parents made me want to study science, but also I was always into I wanted to be a doctor because I find that such a beautiful profession.
Yeah.
Just helping other people like that was something that was, you know, really awesome to me. And so my first semester in Cégep was in science because I wanted to become a doctor. Mm-hmm. But after doing the show, I was like, I'm just going to go into arts because I know that I want to do music.
Yeah. Was there like a specific part of like that you want to do like as a doctor? Like a specialized?
I probably would have wanted to be just a general doctor.
Yeah.
Just a family doctor. We need so many family doctors in Quebec right now. And not everyone has access to a family doctor, and I find it so important. So I think that's what I would have wanted to do.
Yeah. And then after that, you took a while to find like your own style and went through lots of different types of music. What made you think, like, how did you have so many styles that you were so inspired by? I feel like a lot of people start out and they're like, okay, I'm going to do jazz, or like, but the fact they had so much variety to choose from, I feel like is super interesting.
Yeah, I was just playing around with a bunch of different styles because I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I ended up landing on a mix of a bunch of different things. Yeah. But it's just by trying different stuff out and playing around with songs and taking a specific song that's I would write like a jazz song and then turn it into a country song and then see what it sounded like, and sort of played around with that and ended up finding what I liked the most.
Yeah. What do you admire so much about Celine Dion?
Everything. I love her so much. Her discipline is probably what I admire the most. She is so hardworking. Obviously, I love her voice. Her technique is incredible. Yeah. She has the most powerful voice ever. But her discipline, like her work ethics and her discipline are what I admire the most. She works so hard and she's extremely devoted to what she does, and I admire that in anyone, whatever your profession is, whatever you do, if you're super hardworking, that's something I'm going to admire for sure. I think it's so important to be devoted to what you do, and I feel that in her, and she has that.
What would you say have been your biggest struggles so far?
I'm super close to my family, and so traveling a lot, that's been hard for that, because as much as I love playing shows and touring and meeting new fans and playing music for other people, I miss my family a lot. So I think that's something I'm just dealing with and I'm adapting to, because I've always been so close to my family and suddenly I'm traveling all over the world, and so that's hard, but they're still very present. Like, we talk on the phone all the time and they come whenever they can. But I think that's like my challenge right now, but it's a very like doable situation. It's just I'm adapting to that.
How do you think your music has changed from the early songs that you wrote?
I think it's a lot less naive. Like I used to write about love with a capital L without not even knowing what love was, because I had never been in love, right? So I think the subjects are a little bit more accurate to what I'm actually living, and so I think it makes it more personal.
How do you think you've grown as a person since the beginning?
I think I've learned to say no a lot more. Yeah. You get so many people asking for stuff and asking you to do this and asking you to do that, and you get offers that are super interesting, but saying no, and especially as a woman, it's just something that's sort of taboo sometimes, and I'm not, I don't mean it like in a sexual way, it's just saying no to offers and to deals and to money and stuff like that. It's just, that's something I've learned to do, and I'm enjoying it very much.
Last question. What do you want to be remembered for?
My music. I mean, I want to be remembered, for doing music that's authentic to who I am and to my values, and I love that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.